Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. My next build is this AMT Star Trek Enterprise. This is a reproduction of the original kit, so it's not one of the original kit. So if anyone's looking thinking, oh, it's got original kit, I haven't. This is just a reproduction. On the box, you can see the artwork there. It's all fairly done. It's quite nice artwork on the box. We'll have a look inside. So first of all, we have the saucer section. It's quite shiny plastic. It's a bit thick, but that's okay. There's not a lot of detail in here, just a tiny little bit. There is markings for the windows and that here, but you can barely see them. I'll go on more to that in a moment. Here we have the warp nacelles and strut with the back of the yourselves and the collector things there. And again, plus it's not so thick on these ones. Which is good. Here we have the hull. There's the bottom hull and the side of the hull with the neck. These are the buzzer collectors, and that's the shuttle bay door, the deflector dish and mount, and this is just a little stand that comes with. Not sure whether I'll use that or not. We'll see. There's hardly any flashing on it, which is good. As I say, it's a reproduction of the old kit. We have one clear plastic part. This will be for the top and bottom of the saucer section for the bridge. Then we come to the paperwork. So we've got the instructions. Remember, AMT likes you to build these in modular form. But there's, as you can see, there's only that double-sided page of instructions. Nothing too taxing there. And then we have a separate sheet here for the PAL locations. Here we have the different registers of the Enterprise or the Constitution class ship. So, for instance, we have the Excelsior, the Hood, and so on, the Yorktown. So all different registers. And here is interesting because they don't supply the parts for this. This is the various forms of the original Enterprise. So you've got the pilot version. And the main way you can tell for that is on the buzzards. There's a little spiky thing that comes out of the buzzard. I don't know where you can see that or not. Around there. But I've had a quick look and I can't see that. So whether they're asking you to make that or not, I don't know. Or maybe send off a different part. Either way, if I haven't got it, I'm not going to scratch build it. I'll just leave it from how it was. Then it comes to the decals. Now, I've not actually had a look at these decals. This is the, wrong way around, but it doesn't really matter. So all these different numbers, and here is all the different registrations for the Constitution class. If I just turn this around, so we've got the Defiant, the Hood, Farragut, Intrepid, Lexington, Yorktown, and so on. And then, of course, we've got the main for the Enterprise. Now, going back to the saucer section. I don't know whether the camera will just pick it out. See those lines? Well, they get painted, but in between those lines, there's little windows. You can just barely see them. And if you're lighting this up, these will have to be cut out. Now, a lot of people in the past have asked for templates and things like that, so they know where to cut the windows out. But this is a little trick I'll share with you. Now, I'll go into detail when I start building it. But all these things here, all these black dots, these are windows. So what I'll be doing is I'll be cutting these out, placing them on the model like you would a normal decal, and once it's dry, I'll be using that as my template and I'll be cutting out the windows like that. The ones that I don't cut out, I'll just leave the decal on and I'll just paint over them, as simple as that. It's the easiest way to do it, and you should get all your window locations that way. If you're never too sure about that, scan and make a copy of the decal sheet if you can, and use your copy and not these. So scan, print off a decal sheet if you have the facilities to do so, use that, and then you've still got your main decals to play about with if you need them. However, if you don't have it, just put them on. If you're going to be drilling them out anyway, you will not need this. But if you haven't scanned anything, I would always say scan your decals before you do anything. Because if things go wrong, at least you've got a backup copy that you can then sort out. This here, these decals here are for the Mirror Universe decals. So that's interesting. I would imagine that would be the Defiant. If you know your Star Trek, that's the Enterprise that was in the other universe. So that's the plan. Now, the other plan is I have built this model countless times. This one only a couple of times, but the Enterprise itself, I've built it so many times over the years. So I'm going to be doing something different. I'm not going to be painting it in the normal colours. I am going to be painting it in tartan. Yeah, you heard me? Tartan. It's something I like to do from time to time, and it's something I enjoy doing. And the Enterprise with the big surface here, it's ideal for it. So the tartan I'm going to be using is going to correspond to the name that I'm going to be calling this. Because this is a what if as such, I was looking at what can I do. I was going to go for something with my roots, so I thought initially something to do with Dundee, where I come from. I don't live in Dundee, but that's where I come from. I was thinking maybe put RSS Dundee or Royal Research Ship Dundee. Then that got me thinking, wait a minute, in Dundee, we have the Discovery in Dundee. No, the Discovery frigate ship is a Royal Research vessel, and that took Captain Scott, that's Robert Falcon Scott, to the Antarctic on his first exploration to the poles. Now, that particular ship was built in Dundee, and I went down there. I got trapped in the ice for months. They had to wait until it thawed out, then it came back. Everything was all right. And so it wasn't that trip that Captain Scott got killed in, but that was his first expedition. So I thought, RSS Discovery, it's got to be. It's, it's the Enterprise Discovery. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to be using the tartan for Discovery. Now this is a new tartan. This tartan was designed back in 1997. So it's a fairly new tartan. So I think it'll end well to that. So there's show the picture of the tartan. And as you can see, there's one big main stripe going down, a stripe going over. Those will be act as my sentinel lines. That's another good reason why I've chosen it, and I'll just work off that pattern. Also, if you know your Star Trek, you will know there's another show called Strange New Worlds. And now this has got the original Star Trek Enterprise in it, but it has a slight difference. Because computer models have got a lot better since the 60s, of course, you've got the CGI ship, and they can do a lot more with it than a static model like they did back in the day. So, for instance, this warp nacelle, the engines here, instead of just being one solid colour, these are being rendered to how they should be. So it's an open area with the colour coming through, the warp engine colour coming through. So the plan is to remove this, put a clear part in, and so that I've got the engines working as such. Now, I don't know how well that'll go because I haven't done that before on these particular models, but I'll give it a go. If I muck it up, and work it out, because this is all just let's see what happens sort of build, you know. So that's going to be interesting. So because I'm cutting it out and I'm not doing it exactly like the Strange New Worlds Enterprise, and I'm not doing it like the original Enterprise, it's all my own little idea as such, just copying aspects of both. It's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. So there'll be a little bit from the TV show original and from the new TV show in there. So if it all goes wrong, it goes wrong. I'm not really bothered. So I'll go away, get all these parts cleaned up. I've still got a bit of planning to do. I've got to look at the tartan, start mixing colours and so on. So there's quite a lot of prep work to do before I even start the build. So I'll go and do that. It's going to take me a few days to get all that together. Then I'll start the build. Hi, before I end this video, it's been a couple of days since I've edited this video, and I thought I would just put on screen a rendering that I've done to show you the idea that I've got with the Tartan Enterprise. So in the picture you have the Tartan superimposed onto the silhouette of the Enterprise, and it's got 175 and 50%. Now this is just the density of the paint. How dark do I want to go? Now I'm probably going to be doing it between the 100 and 75. The reason for that is I've already mixed the paints, and I couldn't quite get the blues and the greens right. It's just the process, the way I mix the paints, which I'll go more into detail when I show you that part of the build. So the tartan colour is not going to be exactly like that, but it's going to be a close approximation. And because of that, I'm trying to decide whether I should actually call it RSS Discovery or RSS Dundee. Obviously, as I said about Captain Scott's ship, that's the Discovery, but there's also a ship in Star Trek called the Discovery as well, of course, which I forgot to mention. So do I want to put that in the Constitution class as well, or should I just do a complete what if and call it Dundee, which I'm pretty damn sure there's a lot of Star Trek ship called that. But as I said, this is all a bit of a fun video, and it's just for my personal enjoyment. Anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I call it. I'll decide it near the time. I haven't designed the registration decals for it yet anyway, so it's still up in the air what I'm going to call it. I may just go down something simple for the ease. It depends on how much time it will take to build this. And on the time, this is actually a simple build, but the time ways it's going to take a long time to paint this model in the tartan. I forgot to mention that. The process of masking and painting takes a lot longer than a normal paint job would do. So at the moment, I'm not sure how frequent these videos will be, whether they'll be the normal 3 days apart, maybe longer, and so on. But I'll just see how it goes on the build. So anyway, back to the intro, and it's near the end of the intro anyway. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you go and check out the channel for my other builds? If you like what you see, why don't you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, hit the notification bell, sorry. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build but on my future builds as well, of course. I'll also hit that like button, and don't forget to leave a comment, that's always appreciated, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.